to the stage the founding partner of Node Capital, Amos Mieri. Thank you. Amos, welcome Amos to the stage with a round of applause. Thank you. I know it's early. You know, we've got to get the caffeine flowing through the veins now to get the energy up. Okay, and we're going to give a big round of applause to our next VIP speaker. He is the co-founder of 2Pi. Please welcome Mauricio Velez. Thank you. And speaker number 3 is not only the chief economist at Algorand, he is also a professor in 3 universities. 1, 2, 3. Please give a big round of applause to Massimo Morini. Thank you. Excellent. And rounding up our VIP lineup, we have the Chief Digital Officer of Viabank. Please welcome to the stage Edmond Palerola. Thank you, Edmond. Wonderful. Okay, looking forward to a great talk all about distributed finance. Amos, the stage is yours.
All right. Hey, everyone. We'll try and make it, as much as open conversation as we can with the audience. So if you have like an immediate question, you can raise your hand and we can approach you. But it's really interesting because I think 5 years ago I was here talking about blockchain and crypto in general, and we got like a very small room. And now the room is bigger. It's already saying something about blockchain and where we are today. So we'll start with a very short introduction of each one of the people here. So,
okay, so hi, Mauricio Velez is my name. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm just founded a blockchain protocol called 2Pi Network. And basically, our mission is to connect fintech applications across the world to the DeFi space. And we're about to launch in a month. So that's who am I.
Thank you. I'm Massimo Morini. I'm chief economist at Algorand, which is a public blockchain, a proof-of-stake public blockchain, which means that is similar, to other blockchains and cryptos in the sense of being totally open and decentralized, but differently from other blockchains, is also totally green, because that's what proof-of-stake means. About my role, I'm a chief economist, which means that, a blockchain, a public blockchain is always at the same time, a technological reality and an economic reality. Myself and my team, we look at the part which is the economy, that in a sense, the purpose of blockchains is a totally new technology to allow a totally new economy. So that's what we do.
Hello, my name is Edmond Payerola. I'm the Chief Digital Officer at Viabank, a Chief Digital Officer that belongs also to the Executive Committee, which is quite rare from traditional banking. But my occupation, as a summary, I would say there is to make the bank, to make the evolution from the traditional banking to the DeFi model.
All right. So just as kind of disclosure, I'm an investor in 2Pi, as well as advising the Algorand Foundation for a couple of years. So maybe we'll start with kind of give me 1 minute of what is decentralized finance. Who wants to start?
Oh, what an honor. No, I mean, decentralized finance is decentralized finance. So if we think of all the things that we associate with finance or our finances, from making payments, holding our savings, making some contracts to try to increase, our wealth or to hedge ourselves against some risks. Let's imagine this done in a decentralized way, which means that you don't need to go to any specific institution and speak to a person and signing papers, discussing these kind of things. and also then knowing that you are in the hands of the institutions you are dealing with. No, the idea of decentralized finance is that you actually go into services that you can access from your computer, and you don't need an intermediary to do them technically. And once you are into an agreement, that's controlled and managed by smart contract, by technology, in a way which is decentralized, is visible to everyone, is in a sense auditable by anyone, you know. Obviously, this opens a new land of opportunities, a new land of issues, but it's amazing that we have been dreaming of this for many years, you know, so people also coming from traditional finance and the world of fintech and so on, and now we are really seeing the dawn of this reality.
Yeah.
I think another way to describe is it's a peer-to-peer permissionless global financial system, and well, once you get into DeFi, you realize there's a huge shift happening here. Anyone can basically get involved into financial markets in a decentralized manner on a global format, basically, and it's going to change finance forever, I think.
Can I try maybe? I'll try and give my take, and we'll move to Edmund. So to me, let's say, for example, lending, right? If today you need a loan, you go to the bank, right? This is usually how it works today with most people. Then, I guess like 5-7 years ago, we started to see fintech companies, which developed another layer on top of that, which they call peer-to-peer lending. It means that there is still an intermediary, but I'm lending a specific person or a specific project, and there is an intermediary in a fintech company who's kind of curate all of the loans. In decentralized finance, we don't even have that fintech in the middle. It's me making business with someone that I never met. I never had a chance to kind of trust him in any way because I don't need to. Math and code basically taking care of all of the challenges that we have on other financial products today, that we need a lawyer, we need a bank, we need someone to trust in. So it removes basically all of the barriers of trust and allowing people to do business together without an intermediary. That really helps with fees, access to people who doesn't have access to banking, and definitely, from my point of view, is going to be the future of finance. Edmund?
Completely right, and also agree with my colleagues. As a summary, I would say, and also to complement everything you said, DeFi, it means all the ordinary financial services that you are using every day through your apps, but instead of doing it through an intermediary, which is going to be a bank or an insurance company, with no intermediaries in the middle. This is mostly short, brief description of DeFi.
I think maybe to kind of like emphasize how it actually works. Okay, so I want to start test and use decentralized finance today after this workshop. Like, what do I do? Okay, what are the examples of actual protocols where I can now go and take a loan, or give a loan, or provide liquidity, or any other use case that you want to talk about? Like, give us real examples how I can use it right now.
Well, I think I'll tell you my own experience. I think one of my first experiences in DeFi was with a protocol that is called Aave. So Aave is managing right now close to $26 billion in a permissionless way. And it allows you to, anywhere in the world, to the simple click, go and take a loan, right? And for me, when I did that, it was like a mind-blowing experience, because I was thinking anyone, for example, in my own country, in Argentina, that is outside of the financial system was able to take a loan without even having to have any credit history or any presenting a passport or something like that. So it is something that is going to change. So from lending to borrowing, those are like those typical DeFi main applications, but many more are coming basically.
Well, for me, DeFi at the beginning was really a desire, in a sense, in the sense that I've been working for a financial institution for more than 15 years, and I was managing a team doing complex financial products, And I realized that so much, of the risk, so much of the shadows, so much of the difficulty that surrounded those products. By the way, I also experienced, the financial crisis, like everyone here. And I realized that this new technology, and in general technology, could help a lot, making this much better, So I started to write papers on that, started to do tests. They were noticed, they were published on the press, they were noticed by regulators and so on. But, it was a very long journey. Then I joined the foundation of a public blockchain, Algorand, because I thought that probably this reality was going to happen there first, It's always been the doubt, is actually the new finance going to come from the old finance that is able to modernize, or it's going to come, from the new realities, technology, and so on, that increase their understanding of the needs of people from all the economic aspects and start providing services in a new way. Well, it seems it's being the second thing, at least starting 1 or 2 years ago, we have started to see really amazing things, happening in the DeFi space based on blockchains. Not everything is good, absolutely. Some things are bad. Few things may be wonderful, maybe not yet perfect, but wonderful. You're already making examples, but I can think of other examples. The first ones maybe we observed. The capability to create a possibility, to save, or a possibility to invest for the different counterparties of a smart contract through the creation of an algorithmic coin whose price is stabilized exactly by two sides, one that wants to save, and so they want to have a coin who is stable, or otherwise the others that want to take a risk to allow this. This happened, in another blockchain. It was the first evidence that this was possible. But, then in the older blockchains, these things were possible, but also very inefficient, Now, for example, at Algorand, which is a blockchain of new generation, such things are technically possible at a level of efficiency, speed, with a kind of smart contracts, which is not comparable, to the past. And we are seeing, in any case, in blockchains of all generations, the rise of services, like, for example, the possibility of doing exchanges, of digital assets in a decentralized way. So without an intermediary, without anyone looking at what is your order and matching this, the match can be done by the technology. And even the liquidity can be provided by other players. I mean, for a person like me who has been in the traditional financial world for so many years, it's incredible, It's really incredible. And also now Algorand is flourishing with these services as well.
Algorand is now worth more than $10 billion, so it's not a small thing.
I would say that, well, one should check the price, because let's always remember, that cryptos involve an economic risk, and there is also technology that needs to be understood, so it's something to be taken seriously, like every beautiful and important thing, by the way. In any case, without making any checks, I would say for sure we are actually more than 10 billion market value, absolutely.
Good for you. Well, I would say that DeFi is possible. You may understand that DeFi is possible thanks to blockchain technology. Blockchain technology, is the technology that makes every change into a database, it recorded in an immutable way, which it means nobody can change it. Okay? There's other variables, but let me define it you in a general way. So if no one can change this transaction into a database, it gives you like an official certificate that this change has been done and nobody can change it, okay? So why institutions, banking institutions or financial institutions exist nowadays? To certificate all these transactions that you do through your apps. So if the technology replaces the financial institutions, this is why DeFi can exist, because you don't need an intermediary. The technology is the certificate that you're already doing this operation with another peer.
Yeah. And maybe I'll try and also like level it down a little bit and give more specific examples. So we talked about removing service providers in finance, right? Like, so I gave the example of loans, so removing the intermediary in the intermediaries creating the trust for loans. This is one use case where DeFi basically solved that or trying to solve that. Let's take another service. I don't know if you know, but in any exchange, there is a role called a market maker, someone who's basically making sure that the book with the bid and ask is full, and there is always liquidity in the market for people to trade in. There is different DeFi protocols that create an automated market making, which means it's a formula, it's a mathematical formula that calculates the price in real time and basically remove the need in a market maker. Another application that Massimo kind of like touched is algorithmic stablecoins, let's say, or and there, who are we removing? Basically, we're kind of removing the central bank role, right? Because the central bank prints money, remove money from circulation and doing some different actions to create a stable economy, doing less good in Argentina and in other places. But I mean, it's a very challenging job to do. So what if we had a formula, a mathematical formula that can deal basically with all of the scenarios and deal with the economic pressure or demand in real time. So we're able to create a stable coin, which means, for example, we're making sure that it's pegged to the dollar 1-to-1, and no one basically controls that coin because it prints and burns money basically in real time and automatically. So those are like just examples for 3 applications, but as an entrepreneurs or people who are interested in this space, it just gives you a way to think about where there are intermediaries today. Insurance, okay? There are protocols that are doing automatic insurance. So everything that you can approve that have been made on the blockchain, you can create an insurance protocol. So every intermediary in the financial world is basically going to be disrupted by this technology on the long term. And I think, if you're an entrepreneur looking at a space and kind of like investigating and starting to build something, is something that I would highly recommend because we're really just in the beginning of that kind of revolution.
I would say, Amos, also to complement your it is right what you're saying. Banking industry, for instance, with this new model, it loses a lot of services, a lot. But, however, I must say that it earns a lot more.
Yeah, of course. It will take a lot of time. Yeah.
And in order to know how an institution should change, how should evolve, to make the new business model, the problem is that the securities that are inside an institution needs to have a neuroelasticity, which I call neuroelasticity, to forget everything they know from the financial industries during the last, 30, 25 years. I don't care how much time you are in the financial industry.
Well, in some cases we can talk about centuries, because there are some processes at the root of finance who are centuries old, For example, the way we transfer money, let's say particularly if we think of from a country to a country, well, I'm going to make a joke, that sounds slightly different in Spain from where the way it sounds, if we were in the United States or in China, or obviously in my country, which is not so far away. In the wording of moving money across banks, there are some accounts which are called nostro and vostro. You probably can understand, but just a person who is only English speaking or Chinese speaking, that doesn't Mandarin or Cantonese, does not understand. And the reason why these names are spread across the whole world is because it's a technology that was created in the north of Italy and in Tuscany in the Renaissance, by bankers, from different countries. Many of them were Jews, by the way. And then they moved to London, they moved to other countries, including Spain and France and so on, and they spread this model, Guys, I always make the joke to realize that we're still using a technological idea, a business process, if you like, which dates back to the Renaissance. Okay, obviously, then now the communication to update the Nostro Vostro accounts is super fast. They are super technologically managed, but the root is so old, So I do think that FinTech is doing fantastic things, But I was more attracted, for example, when I looked at crypto and blockchain, to a totally different idea of technology, for example, to move money. At least I'm happy to see a world now where there is competition between different models,
Yeah.
The thing also, and talking about Mauricio, we were talking about this before. The problem that we will have in the future, it will be the same for everyone. It is how can we put all this technology, all these services into the consumer.
Yeah.
And this, the financial institutions needs to adapt it through the company of Mauricio in order to make to the final user to make it a satisfactory experience for him.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We don't see the banks are going to disappear, nor the fintechs are going to disappear. I mean, they understand UX, UI, they understand regulation and so on. So we believe that blockchain technology will be basically the infrastructure of all those fintech applications, all those banks. But basically, the end user won't even notice that it's running behind, and that's the bridge that we're building with our protocol, basically. But we don't see any disappearance. We see an evolution, basically, between centralized finance, banks, fintechs, and decentralized finance working together, building the new financial markets of the future, basically.
I mean, to me, there was this moment in 2012. I was living in Cyprus for some time, working for a company called eToro, and there was a financial crisis. And while I knew how banks works and how the financial system works, as I was in finance for some time, there was the financial crisis and people couldn't withdraw money from their own bank account. There were lines of people waiting to withdraw 25 euros a day as their budget. And, to me, it was, I suddenly, and the bank took some of my money because they needed to survive. And this is also, to me, luckily, the time where I read the white paper of Satoshi and Bitcoin and got into the space heavily. So to me, I think that it's very different to know how the financial system works and to experience, some pitfalls and things that could happen. So before we're going into the challenges of DeFi, because it's not a beautiful pink word, right? There are a lot of challenges, a lot of issues, etc. Maybe we'll open up for questions. Anyone wants to ask something that is interesting for him? Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it might be a bit technical for someone, for some of you, but in the non-speakers. So what do you guys think of the opposition of the public blockchains like Ethereum and Solana, decentralized application platforms, and the side chains of Bitcoin, like Liquid or Lightning? How do you see the differences between them? and also like in regards to like the network effects that Bitcoin might have.
Yeah, so I can go first, but
Yeah.
I will let you guys.
I think it's a little bit too technical probably, but we're definitely going to be living in a multi-chain world. So if there is something that you need to look at is the communities around each one of them, right? So because communities are developers building products for the users and so on. So I think we're definitely moving into the multi-chain world, and just look at the communities on each one of those chains.
Yeah, I mean, when I started, I thought that Bitcoin is going to be the only thing. We also built the first protocol on top of Bitcoin, Colored Coins, which was the one that enabled for the first time to issue digital assets, with Vitalik, who afterwards started Ethereum. I think very differently right now. I think there is a lot of space for different innovation. You know, Algorand is a very, very good example for novel, really novel technology that have room in that new world. So definitely we're going to be in a multi-chain world, and you'll have a lot of layer 2s, etc. We really just started. Yeah.
Just to add one comment here, just to give you a sense of size that we're talking, the DeFi market, it really has a little bit more than a year that it's really working. And the market is now around like $200 billion in only
$200 billion, yeah.
And there are only 10 million MetaMask accounts, basically. So it's super, super, super small. The whole crypto space is 2 trillion. If you look at the whole financial market, it's tiny, right? So this is really, really early days, actually.
It's not mature yet, no.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's an amazing figure if we think of that, you know, comparing to... I do remember the first time when talking about Bitcoin, we said, oh, it's 1 billion, you know. I was working in a bank at that time, and some people said, well, now that the market value of the total Bitcoin is more than 1 billion, it's a serious thing. I mean, everyone obviously in the bank was obvious. It was obvious that that was very small. It was very, very back, you know, very small. But say, come on, it's 1 billion.
Yeah.
Think of the figures that you were mentioning now.
When Facebook went down,
it's
Bitcoin
a trend,
crossed
you know.
the value of Facebook.
It's a trend.
We'll give a chance for more questions. Yeah.
Hi there. I'm Sergio from Gatacan. We are working with self-sovereign identity technology.
With what, sorry?
Self-sovereign identity technology,
Okay.
like digital identities. So my question is around how do you see the mixing of both worlds, like this with the old world of finance and this new world of finance in a regulatory perspective? When you talk about KYC, GDPR, how do you see mixing those worlds in terms of, because many of these protocols are fully anonymous, and when you have to mix those worlds, how do you see the futures? And
Well, maybe I can answer better that.
We'll let the bank answer.
Well, first of all, let me say that it's a very good question. This is my actual daily job every day, is to go together with the regulators in order to make them calm of what we are doing and what we are going to develop. No? But I guess that the only way we can in order an institutional financial services institution that it is regulated, and we have a lot of instruction from our regulators to report, and also to make sure the origin of the funds of our customers. So make sure there is not comes from anti-money laundering, it doesn't come from finance the terrorism, and so on. Okay. So what we are going to do here? There are many protocols. There are going to exist as many protocols as needs. So it will exist a lot. But of course, the bank, we will need to do a key, an independent key, a fixed key that will give the access to these protocols. And obviously, this is a smart contract. It will be the KYC the proof of address, and all the due diligence that we have to do customers. It will be, never it will be a DeFi 100% pure.
Yeah, and this is really rare hearing that for a bank. It's super advanced for where banks are today. I wish we had like more time. I think we can have like another 2 hours session, seriously. But yeah, we will be outside. Happy to answer any questions. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.